Hey guys, it's Jeff here. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. Today is going to be experiment within an experiment. It's been 6 months since I did an update on my Giant Sequoia, the tree that I was cloning from the larger tree. I took 3 lower branches, tried to see if I could get a branch to actually root. If anybody knows the history of the sequoia, the giant sequoias can only reproduce with cones, and they don't send up root sprouts or pearl sprouts like its closest relative, the coast redwood, does. Their chances of survival are a lot less, hoping that once the cones open and the seeds drop to the ground, that they find a nice fertile spot to reproduce. Which prompted me to see if I could actually take a cutting, or in this case it was a limb, from this tree that I picked up when I went and visited Muir Woods in California several years ago. That came in this little tube that I picked up in the gift shop. The trees are quite amazing to see the coast redwoods up close and personal, but unfortunately, the coast redwood is a warm weather climate tree, whereas the sequoia would probably do a lot better in Pennsylvania. And they live actually in the cooler climates up in mountains, those regions, and can take the snow quite nicely. So my thoughts were, can we get these guys to reproduce from cuttings instead of just relying on cones? And as you remember, 6 months ago, we did find out that answer. Several years I've been after this little guy. This used to be a lower branch from this tree here, and it did quite nicely. In fact, I'm going to throw some photos in of how it progressed from the roots that I had in the jar until we got to this stage, and you know, I'm quite happy with everything the way it turned out. But I had another question in the back of my mind: can you take a clipping from a clipping, and how would that work out? Would it have a chance to root? And say you only had the one tree and you wanted to keep it cloning, you know, off and on. So I got my answer several months ago. I just took a small clipping from this tree, and I hoped it would root, and fortunately it did. So I got my answer, and as you can see, it is starting to get a nice root on it. Actually, it might even be better against my sweater there. You can see how nicely it is. And nice up against the speaker. It is doing well, and I think in a few short weeks, since it's already March and spring is just around the corner, I want to get this guy into dirt, get it into nice warm temperatures when they roll around, and it'll be ready to go for the spring. And I think it will do a lot better once I get it in the dirt and there's a little bit more root system to it, so that everything could kind of fall into place with the sequoias. That's basically about it. You know, we've been playing around down here in the basement, back in the workshop, getting things ready for the spring, and you know, all these little guys are dying to get out, including I do have my coast redwood, and he will be heading outside shortly as soon as those temperatures start coming up a little bit. Like I said, it is almost mid-March. Spring is just a week or so away, and I want to get these guys out and about, you know, get them back into the sunshine and the warmer climate temperatures, and out of the basement where they've been wintering. So that is it. Just as a recap, the clipping has rooted nicely, and this will be going into dirt. It is spoken for. I have a friend at work, but I'm kind of curious on how that's going to progress. So I think maybe this guy is going to get fostered into that person, and because he does want to plant it outside, which I have no intention. I really don't have the place for it. You know, that's why I'm kind of just keeping this one growing in bigger pots. You know, every so often I just replant it. So I think we're gonna pass this guy along. So this might be the last time to see him, and I'll just start updating on how this experiment is gonna work out. Okay, so that is my Giant Sequoia update and my experiments and how they are coming along. Just wanted to share that with everybody in case there's somebody stumbling across this video and was always wondering or curious about it and has one and wants to try it themselves. I will leave some links in the description on the original videos on how they started out. If anybody wants to see them and hasn't seen them as of yet, feel free to get back there. Leave me a comment if you want to say anything, questions, just say hello. Come see me on Facebook as well. Leave me a message there if you would like. So take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you guys soon.